Hey everybody, I'm back. I was doing that video and I have the least expensive phone that there is in the entire world. That's what I told him when I went and got it. I said I want the least expensive phone because I don't like to pay monthly bills. And so that's what I got, the least expensive phone. So what happens is its memory is like really, really small. So when I make a video, it decides to just cut off right in the middle of it. And then I listen to that. It cuts off, stops. Well, that means I'm supposed to stop. So I decided to stop and have a cup of coffee. And got my cup here. My sister gave me. It says love and always and forever and love. And you see the 4 girls. We're 4 girls. So it's my favorite cup. And it helps that it's nice and it's a big cup too. Because I don't like a little tiny. I like old china. I love old china. I especially like old china. Like I like old plates because they're smaller. And then that helps with portion control. So that's all I use is old china. But when it comes to coffee, I do not want portion control. I want a big cup. A big cup of coffee. So I like a big cup for that. So I'm just sitting here having that by the fire. My feet got cold. I don't know why it's not cold outside. I guess it's because it's wet outside. That makes it cold in here. So, I hope I'm going to get a chance then to show you the rest of the recipe. So, I'll stop now. I was all snuggled up. But I'll stop now, take my coffee into the kitchen, and then I'll finish the recipe to show you what I'm doing and tell you another couple of tricks that I learned over the years about cooking. So, I talked about I was going to chop up some onion. I'm going to turn this on high. I chopped up some onion and some celery. And then I had some radish tops as well. And then here are some nasty parts of radish tops. So when I washed them, I took this off. So this doesn't go in the trash. This goes to the chickens or the compost. See? Trash is last resort. Very last resort. Can't find anything else to do with it. See here? Even here, all these little bits. I'm going to use all these things in the garden. This is a perfect weed herb. All this stuff is usable. So I will use it. So I have a basket here by the trash. So I'm constantly putting any kind of thing that will decompose. Anyway, back to cooking. So I've got that in there. That's going to take longer. I might as well put this in too. And I don't think I'm going to put the cauliflower rice in yet. I think I'll do that later because that's already cooked. These things aren't cooked. So I'm going to put this radish tops. Now I'm adding the radish tops to the recipe. It didn't call for them. It only called for the celery and see, I didn't put any fat in it, and I'll show you why. Because here's my chicken stock I was telling you about. It was in the crock pot. Then I strained it. Here's the strained bits, which I'll go through that later and take out the good bits. And then I've got this. This is all the stock. Well, you might not be able to see it, but at the top of the stock, there's like a sheen or a layer of fat. And what I like to do is I take my spoon, and then they have devices. Oops. They have things you can, I think I'll use a different spoon, something a little more control. They have different things you can buy to help you to separate the stock. But you see there, I've got some oil. Put that in there. So instead of adding oil to the bottom of my pan from I have vegetable oil there, I have olive oil, I've got butter. And instead of adding them from there, I'll just add them from the, because fat is expensive to buy. I don't know if you noticed, especially olive oil And they're finding out that animal fats are not as bad for you. They're still not 100% healthy, obviously, is the same as the nut oils and olive oil plant. But, so, let's see here. Cooking this with a ladle, which I didn't mean to do, but that's all right. I think it needs to be turned down. I'm going to turn it down to like 2, because just like low warm, very warm, and let that cook. And that's going to cook down. And this will be all my yummy vegetable. It'll give some crunch into the salad, into the soup. And it'll be yummy. Excuse my, I don't want to waste all that stuff that's on there. There we go. And then what else I need to do still is I need to get some yummy bits of meat. See, these are bones. These aren't good. Now, I can't give these bones to the chickens because chicken bones can't go back to chickens. Let's see this nice piece of meat. That's a nice piece of chicken meat here. That can go in there. But I'm not going to put it in here yet because it'll make it really small. I'm going to just put it in my... No, I'm not. Where am I going to put it? I'll put it with the cauliflower rice. So what I need to do next, you can see here I cut off my celery. So the nasty parts of the celery tops, because you know when you buy celery, this top part is dry. It comes like this, right? It's old. It's dried out. I'm not eating that. So first thing I do is chop off the very top. And then I put that in there. And then so I still have to take some chicken, debone it. There's my chicken I told you about. Put that in there. So this is going to go in all these things. The stock, the cauliflower rice, the chicken pieces in with this vegetable here, and the chicken stock. And I'm going to have a nice, hearty chicken soup. I know this called for a couple of spices too. Obviously, always calls for salt. But what I'm going to wait, I wait to do the salt because this stock had salt in it. Not a lot, but it had some. I put some salt and pepper in when I cooked it. So I'll wait till I add that to, oh, sorry about that, I was planting stuff. I'll wait till I add that to this. And then once I do that, then I can taste it. And I have these, I like to taste things. I have these tasting spoons. See them here? So I don't like, so every time I want to taste it to see, does it need salt? Does it need, take my tasting spoon out, try it, and then put it in the sink. That way I can try it a lot. Here's a rosemary I'm growing. I got that at the store. I think it was at, oh, look, you can see. I don't know if you can see him. Woodpecker's out there. Oh, he just flew away. Yes, I have a rosemary. And then this is a bit of ginger. So I tried to grow oregano there, but it wasn't having it. I don't know why. It's not getting enough light here or what. But my ginger, over here I keep ginger and garlic. My ginger had a little, well, you can't see where it was, but it had a little, oh, there's another sprout coming up. See? There's a sprout there. It had a little sprout, and so I thought, well, let's see if we can grow ginger. So I planted it here. It seems to be doing okay, but this is the second one I've done. The first one I did died, but I moved it and I messed around with it, which is always what I do, which always ruins things. I move things around and I don't leave them well enough alone. So this one I'm going to leave here, and also here. I don't know if you can see out there. I have a butterfly bush right here. This bush attracts so many butterflies. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to propagate it. And I'd seen something on YouTube where you can put just a cutting in a jar at some water, and you can see there is one right in there. See it? All the rest of it died, but there's one in there that's sprouting. So hopefully I'll be able to propagate my butterfly bush this year and have another butterfly bush. We'll see. I also have a couple of other cuttings I took, and I'm trying different ways to do that. So that's, I I think I'll come back in a little bit once I've got the rest of my soup assembled. I'll come back and I'll show you the rest of it. And I think the recipe I saw called for paprika. Got paprika here. And what else did it call for? I think salt and pepper. I think that was all the spices. There's not a lot of spices for me because I usually spice things up. I think I'm going to take this out to the cottage, and that's what I see. What I did, I overwatered it. That's what I did. It's like, poor thing. Look what I've done to it. Overzealous again. So anyway, and then I found this old vaporizer in the garage in the back, and so I thought, oh, I'll clean that up. I might get sick and want to, it has to be clean though. I mean, it really needs to be clean. It needs to be sterilized. But once I sterilize it, I'll use it. And here's one of the other geranium, a I can never say the word. Anyway, I call it a geranium. It's called a pergolonium, I think, the official name. But you can see this one's a red one. So this one my brother-in-law got me as well at the dump, and somebody had just dumped them. And they weren't even in pots. They were just kind of like root bound when he found them. And that's a painting my son did. Oh, he had to be 10. He did this painting. And then there's a tuk-tuks from Thailand, and my dad gave me this. This is like a picture. It's like July for your birthday. And my great-grandmother did these birds. And then my grandmother did this one. And I got that in Spain, Barcelona. And then these are just little things I found in the yard that I like. Just different things, like the poor butterfly was attacked by something, and I collected the leaves. And there's another picture done I believe my great-grandmother. And then there's some different things that we canned this year. This is from my grapes. So I have some grapes out there, and made some grape jelly. And then this is peppers. Just peppers, and this is really good to do something like this. It's not very difficult at all. You just, you've got a million peppers coming out of your garden. You just slice them up, fill this up, and then you put half boiling vinegar, half boiling water, and some spices, seal her up, process it for 10 minutes in boiling water, and then you've got fresh. They're fairly fresh. These are really great for Mexican. So whenever I'm making something Mexican, in fact, I might put these in the soup. Oh, that might be an idea. We'll think about that. When I'm making Mexican, I like to use this for peppers. Because if I go to the store right now and try to buy a green pepper to chop up for one of my dishes, it's going to cost me $1. $1 a pepper. Because, of course, they're coming from across the world. They're going to be $1 at least. So here, these are free. These I grew from seed. And I've got all these. So, it builds up little bit by little bit of savings. And it's about saving. And it's about not just saving because, you want to have money. It's about saving to save the earth. Little things where, instead of going to buy a green pepper at the store and that was shipped from halfway around the world, or it was caught in a greenhouse and it was, all this energy used to grow it in the middle of winter. Either way, all those things. That's not good. Let me put my eggs back. And this is my pantry right here. I got a whole mess of jars down there. It's not very light back here. And I always hang my pots and pans and extra different things I use. And this is our Berkey because I use a Berkey to double filter all my water. I already have a filtration. I have a well, and then I have a filtration system for the well. And then I also have like a Berkey for the drinking water as well. So even though the water coming out of the well is very clean, it was tested and everything. So anyway, I guess that's all for now. We're going to say bye, rats. Say bye-bye. Bye, everybody.